from Southern Maryland's weather leader. This is a JB Weather Alert.
All right, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm forecaster John Bordash back with you for your hourly 3 o'clock update on Tropical Storm Elsa as she continues to move closer towards our region. I think you all know the drill at this point. If you can hear me fine, let me know in the comments, and I'll refrain from getting too in-depth with anything too quick before we are all good. And I think Brandy knows what's going on because she says loud and clear. And I know trains right now, they run on really weird schedules, and I know they would be running the way that they do. That probably would have influenced some decisions a couple of months ago. But we do, again, have this tornado watch in effect. And let me actually pop over here. This shows you a little bit better in a graphical form. Again, that tornado watch is in effect for all of those red-colored counties. So that is Calvert County, that's St. Mary's County, that is Westmoreland County, as well as the counties on the lower eastern shore, eastern Virginia, the northern neck, as well as down towards the Outer Banks. This goes until 11 o'clock. So do keep that in mind. That's going to be, I think, one of the biggest, probably breaking weather stories we'll have over the next couple of hours. Now, as you watch for that potential of tornadoes, as I push us forward here in the graphics, this is the storm timeline. I think this is a really good place to start with. This shows you really what I'm expecting, what I think we're going to be looking at, when we're looking at it, how bad it's going to get, when the worst will hit. I think this kind of answers a lot of those questions. And you could be looking at about 2 to 4 inches of rain, and really the worst of that happening after sunset tonight as we get closer towards midnight. Winds will be not horrible, but we will have 35 to 45 mile an hour wind gusts, and those will really peak after sunset as well, leading to some scattered outages. And again, we're talking about that threat of maybe 1 or 2 isolated tornadoes. Tropical storm warnings in effect for much of the region. We already know that. And that means that we're talking about tropical storm force conditions being likely over the next 24 hours. Here's a look at that rainfall forecast. We're talking 2 to 4 inches, generally speaking, for southern Calvert, southern St. Mary's County, and amounts taper off quickly to the north and west. And that's kind of the same deal with the wind forecast, but a flash flood watch is in effect for all of our region for the threat of some flooding, and that goes into effect until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. That wind forecast highest for those same areas getting the highest rainfall totals locally, southern Calvert and southern St. Mary's, but I really think this will probably be a bigger deal for those coastal communities. So I'm thinking from Calvert Beach to Long Beach down towards Cove Point, Drum Point, down there towards Solomon's Island, then across the river on over towards like Town Creek and Pax River down there, towards Scotland and Ridge Point, Lookout, Tall Timbers, Piney Point, on up towards Bushwood, on over towards the Breton Bay area and Cobb Island. Those are all the regions I think we could be talking about a higher wind gust. And that tornado threat, this is from the Storm Prediction Center. They issue this. Well, they issue these outlooks every day, but this is their latest outlook for right now. That highest tornado threat is that level 2 threat, an elevated threat to our south and east. Typically with storms, when they track, it's to the east of the main track for the center where you look at a tornado threat. And that's sure enough, that's where we have the highest tornado threat with this. We have a tornado threat here as well. It's not as great because we're not on the eastern side of that, but that threat is there. When we talk about these large-scale tropical storms, there's just naturally a lot of twisting and turning of the wind, so it's very easy to get a small little twisting and turning and produce 1 or 2 weak spin-up waterspouts or tornadoes. And then coastal flooding, not really going to be an issue for us, I don't think, as we head through the day and into tonight. And this is a look at the hydrograph from Solomon's Island. It looks like this for much of our region as well, on up towards Chesapeake Beach, Point Lookout. We're not really talking about coastal flooding being an issue. Taking it back over here to live radar, you can see Elsa spinning away as she continues to turn up here towards the north, and we're beginning to see rain now work into our region as the outermost bands of this begin to move in. And we actually do have a couple of tornado warnings with Elsa right now across the Outer Banks, these pink polygons down here just south of Elizabeth City near the Outer Banks. Locally, we have no warnings in effect aside from the severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Baltimore and northern Anne Arundel counties. And we've seen some of these storms on the outer edge of Elsa work through. We saw some heavy rain and some thunder move through places in Charles County, on over towards Waldorf, La Plata, working on up towards Brandywine into the D.C. metro area. Right now, we're getting into more of a light, steady rain. And if I take you over to Futurecast, which I think does an amazing job at kind of showing what we're dealing with here. I want to make sure that it's listening to me this time. So this was it for noon. There we go. So 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So yeah, right now, right around 3 o'clock, it's doing a pretty good job showing where the main rain with Elsa is. And our Chesapeake's Bounty Futurecast shows we don't really start to get into more of a steady, moderate rain, likely until around dinner time, right around 6, 7 o'clock or so. And that's really going to be focused south of Prince Frederick, south of Loveville. And then as we head towards midnight, after really 10 o'clock, you'll see how our Futurecast really starts to paint in some of those heavier bands into our region. We'll need to watch for some twisting and turning of the winds with those as they move on through. And those arrows you see, that would be our the forecasted wind direction, and then the color of the arrows is how strong the wind is. So those like reds and orange yellows, or red and orange arrows, those would be the strongest winds. And you can see if you follow those where that center of circulation is, and right around midnight, 1 o'clock, is when that starts to move over our region. If you follow those arrows, you can see where the center of the storm, the center of Elsa, would be moving right through southern parts of St. Mary's County right around midnight, bringing some high wind and some gusty winds and heavy rain with it. And we quickly wrap things out that by 2, 3 o'clock, we're really starting to clear out across the region. Let's see if we have any questions so far. April says that her deck furniture is secured. We love to see that. I think that's the only thing so far. Awesome. Oh, and yeah, Nancy's saying we have rain down there in Lexington Park, which we can see easily here on radar. If I put on our, let's get our next rad radar loaded up here and let that update. Here we go. And we'll turn off the region or the national radar composite. This really allows us to get inside our local radar. This isn't good for looking at Elsa all the way down in North Carolina, but this does show us where we have that rain right now really coming into parts of St. Mary's County. And if I actually were to take this off, it's these counties here shaded in red that are under that tornado watch. That goes until 11 o'clock this evening. Yeah, Brittany's saying that she's dry over towards Rich. So yeah, I mean we're just not getting into that. So that's kind of expected. But rain totals for Salisbury. So I would say if I can come back over here, Salisbury. I think Salisbury. I would say 2 to 4, probably closer to maybe an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches on over that way. Michelle's reporting rain on over towards Prince Frederick by the Benedict Bridge. Yeah, Brandy, super light sprinkles, but that's all. Probably of a tornado in Charlotte Hall. So Donna, and this really goes for a lot of people, and this happens all the time when we have the potential to have tornadoes. I can't forecast where a specific tornado will be at any one point in time. I can't say Charlotte Hall will get one or that Lesby will get, it's one of those things where we really need to wait and see. We won't know what's going on really till that happens. What I can tell you is that Charlotte Hall is under that tornado watch, so we're going to be watching for that potential for you. So that's really what we're talking about right now. Not too much has changed in the forecast just yet. We're still just kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen. We're not really into too much in the way of heavy rain across our region just yet. We're still just looking at Elsa beginning to move into the area. And as we zoom out here and just do the large scale, let's give this a 3-hour loop, let that load up. You'll see Elsa very clearly on the satellite radar combination here brought to you by William Richmond Inc. moving up to the north. We have a couple of tornado warnings down to the south in North Carolina. We're going to watch those bands as they rotate up into our region. I'll be with you all afternoon, all evening going into tonight. We'll be doing these hourly updates, and I'm sure at some point tonight, probably around 9, 10 o'clock or so, we'll do one lot, just continuous live stream, and you can just pop in, to get the latest information. Again, is to say that the wind is picking up in Waldorf, and let's see, you think Elsa will produce what Isaias did last year? Jay, I do not think so. I don't think this is going to be nearly as bad. Isaias last year, big storm, and it actually even surprised me how much rain. I mean, I forecasted 4 to 6 inches of rain with that, so that's more than I'm forecasting now. And I just realized I was talking about radar, and I didn't even have it up. I think we're probably, I was forecasting 4 to 6 for that. Most of our region saw 5 to 9 inches of rain from east to east, and we saw several tornado warnings. I don't think we're going to be on that level. I think the rain totals, the highest ones, are really going to be localized and confined to Southern Calvert and St. Mary's County, and quickly tapering off once you hit I-95. And I think those wind gusts aren't going to be too, they'll be there, but they're not going to be as bad as they were last year, I don't think. And that tornado threat isn't as high, given the track Elsa is taking. Kristen saying it's raining in Sunderland, sprinkling in Charlotte Hall. Do I have coffee and plenty of goldfish? Well, I do have my goldfish. Finally got the box out, not opened yet. We're going to save that for this evening. My coffee cup is on standby today. We have, this would be my coffee mug. I don't know if you can read that or if that's backwards, but it says this is a particularly dangerous situation. Maybe a little dramatic, but I'm still waiting on all my other coffee mugs to come in, so I'm going to switch it up from the storm cloud mug. But stay tuned. I will continue to keep you updated. I'm here with you for the rest of today into tonight. Forecast will be continuously updated. Updates will be posted Facebook, Twitter. You see the links, and on the website, jbweather.net. So thank you so much for joining me. Right now, I'll speak back with you probably around 4:15, and we'll continue to watch how everything unfolds. Have a nice and safe one, and keep it tuned right here to JB Weather.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.